Edge Match. It's Edge Match. You're at Edge Match. Edge Match. Don't miss Edge Match. Don't miss Edge Match. You're at Edge Match. Edge Match. Don't miss Edge Match. Don't miss.
All right. Hello, all of our EduMatch fans. I'm so excited to be here. It's been such a long time since I got to do a publishing book release, and I get to do it for two of my favorite people in the whole world. So I'm so excited about this, and we are here today for an absolutely adorable children's book called Cooper's Comics. And I have isn't it adorable? Like, hold up that cover. Look at how cute that is. That is so adorable. And so I'm super excited about this. So we're going to start out if somebody has been living under a rock and don't know who you are, can you please go ahead and introduce yourselves?
Yes, my name is Brienne Fennel, and I am an educator in Ohio. I teach third graders at the moment, and I am a big member of the Scholastic Fellowship. That's just a recent thing that I've been working on. And then I am a member of the Teach Better team, and I am I have a new title. So lead connections coordinator for the Teach Better team. So I am involved in a lot of things in education, and I am a published author through EduMatch Publishing.
Very cool. My name is Manuel Herrera. I am a former educator of 20 years, and I now work in higher ed. So I am a learning and development specialist for Washington University in St. Louis. In addition to that, I'm part of Manual Draws. I do workshops. I do talks on using visual thinking and drawing in and out of the classroom. And then I'm also an illustrator. So yeah, I had the opportunity to illustrate my second children's book. So really excited about Cooper's comic coming out.
Yeah, very cool. Best illustrator ever. And Brian, tell us a little bit. I want to go back for a second to tell us a little bit about your fellowship, because that's like a big deal. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so my fellowship is with Scholastic, and right now I get to work with some amazing people on the Scholastic team, but I get to work with 12 other teaching fellows. And what we're really exploring is like how to make Scholastic products high quality for teachers, easy to use, some things that are just like must-haves for your classroom. And so I think it's super smart that Scholastic wanted to hear the voices of educators that are in the classroom and just like work together just to make sure that they're meeting the needs of, the people who are using their products. So that has been such an amazing experience. Not only do I think it's important to learn from other teachers, but from different places. And I feel like I'm getting to hear the voices of people who are so intelligent and so kind and just really kind of bounce ideas off each other, not just about Scholastic, but just about the teaching world in general. And, some of the, the things that are hard about teaching right now, and some of the things that really bring us all a lot of joy. And so, and then in July, I actually get to go and present our final project in New York City. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Very cool. That's amazing. I'm so happy for you. And yeah, and I think it's always great to get another PLN group or another support system, like whatever you can do to get that in place is really important. So I'm so happy. Congratulations. I'm so happy for you on that. And now back to why we're here. So we're going to talk a little bit about Cooper's Comics. And as we go through, you guys just jump in, give us as much information as we can, because this is I just love this book. So what was the inspiration behind Cooper's Comics?
The inspiration behind Cooper's Comics is it's kind of cool because I feel like this project is something that really stemmed from my imagination. Like, it's not based off of, and I love books that are based off of real life experiences, but this one was one that's kind of formed from just those connections that students have with teachers and how that connection can make a difference for a lifetime for a student. So I feel like a lot of people will kind of see themselves in that teacher role, but will also, when they're reading it to their students might see themselves in these characters because they're really real life experiences that, you know, people make mistakes and students make mistakes. And it's kind of like, how do we overcome those things and use like our powers and our gifts to make the world a better place. So that was kind of how, like what inspired me. And I know that everybody has like that teacher that like really changed things for them, but mine was Mrs. Helly. And really, I feel like a lot of the reason that I even wanted to become an author was because she had an opportunity where we could do this publishing shop. So publishing shop was like once a month, and the PTO came in and you could like bind the books with like old wallpaper samples, and you got to use like the Mr. Sketch markers, and it was like rad. You were like, I can't wait to get my book published. And then you got to share it with your class. So she gave us that extra time to like just hold up our book and share it with other people. And I still do that with my students because I feel like it brought me such joy. And I feel like those are the kinds of things that kind of connect me with the story.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And that's, everybody has that like inspirational teacher. Well, I shouldn't say everybody. Most people have that inspirational teacher story, right? And so that's so cool how it intertwines with, you know, with your writing the books and stuff. Like it feels like that teacher had a big part in that. So I love that. And what about what was the inspiration for the graphics that you created, Manuel? What was that all about?
You know, it was fun. The book itself kind of just spoke to me just because it's about a boy who draws. I mean, it doesn't get any more connected than that. You know, I was definitely a kid who got in trouble in school for drawing kind of at the wrong times, not necessarily the wrong things, but you know, just the wrong time. So it was really cool to read the book and see like, oh, this is great. Somebody's talking about drawing. You know, Bree's got a great story about how we can use it in classrooms as a superpower. So things like I had always wanted to be able to say when I was a kid, but didn't really have a voice. So kind of trying to figure out how is this going to look and who is going to be the main character and what's that going to look like? You know, it's kind of just a partnership. We toss out ideas. You know, I go online and I look up kids' books. I go and I look at my old drawings, just to kind of find out like what do I think this guy looks like? What does he feel like? What does he, you know, who does he represent? And we kind of just toss around ideas. I come up with a few sketches. I think we had 4 or 5 little characters, and Bree and I went back and forth, kind of trying to figure out like what's gonna really work. So it's really a collaborative effort. Like I kind of come up with initial ideas. I asked for kind of what are you looking for, and it's kind of cool that, you know, the little boy ends up wearing glasses, and he's got, and I don't know, he kind of always was supposed to have floppy hair, but the more and more I looked at him, he kind of resembled one of my sons, kind of a little bit. The son's hair is definitely kind of way past the length of this now, but it was kind of cool that kind of maybe that was a subconscious thing, and it kind of just worked out in creating it. Yeah, I don't know. I was just trying to have fun, just trying to get it exciting, or create things that are exciting. That's usually when I read kids' books to my kids when they were younger. I liked the art. Like I wanted to be drawn into art. I wanted to look at all the little things that are there in a picture, and so. I wanted to have those elements kind of throughout the book. So I try to put in little small things that may like, oh, I'm gonna look at that a little closer. Yeah, just make it playful is really kind of was the goal overall.
Yeah, I love how, well, first of all, I'm surprised that the main character doesn't look like you.
I was trying to like keep it away for me a little bit, you know, because yeah, I did. I felt like, oh, that's totally, I could be Cooper.
I also love how it has sort of that old time comics, like Spider-Man type band look to it as well on the cover. I think that's so fun.
Yeah, kind of knowing that, you know, in the end, it's Cooper creates comics. He draws them kind of in a comic style or kind of comic structure. I try to have some of those in there. I think there's another kind of POW, kind of a hand slap of him and the teacher.
Yep.
So not a hand slap, I guess a high five, I should say.
Yeah, he slapped somebody else in the book. Yeah, very cool. Okay, so why was creating Cooper's comics specifically important to you? Like, what was it about the story that just felt like it was really important?
I feel like I'm going to take this opportunity just to talk about like the creation and how I was waiting for this wonderful illustrator to be ready to work with me. And I feel like the process of creating it was so much better, and it was so fulfilling because we just worked together so well. It was not like getting everything the way we wanted. It was good because we weren't like settling on, okay, well, that's good enough. Like we kept going back and forth. Like, how can we make this better? How can we make this spread, like go across all the pages? How can we kind of reconfigure things so that like there are those secret like little hidden elements. Like both of my boys are drawn on this one page, and there's an owl because I love owls. So there are things that like my students are definitely going to it's going to resonate with them. And so I feel like creating it was like being patient and waiting for like what we really wanted. And this product is something that I am so proud of, and I'm just so happy that I got to do it with you. So thank you so much. We are another reason why I think creating this book was important to me is because talking to my students about the writing process can sometimes be like, like the teacher on Charlie Brown, where like, I feel like they start to think that I'm like wah-ing them. But when I'm able to like bring the proofs and like read it to them and be like, look, it is a process. Like, here are all the different proofs that I have. Like it wasn't ready yet. It wasn't ready yet the next time. And now I get to stand here and be like, this is it. Like, this is our work. And I feel like it really shows them that like first hard work pays off. Like if you want something, you have to work for it, but also that the writing process is for a purpose, whether it's for an audience or whether it's for yourself, whether it's for your mental health, if it's output for you. And drawing is the same thing. Like these people have, the students, they have their own like little nuances that make them who they are, whether that's drawing or dance or video games. Like so that's why I feel like I continue to create books and work through my creative process with my students.
Yeah, I love that. And I've never heard Charlie Brown's teachers want in the form of a verb before. So that was impressive too. I just wanted to point that out. We might need to start using that like on the regular. So all right. So wow, what were you thinking? What was the I mean, we talked about this a little bit, but yeah, you touched on it when you were talking about your illustrations. But anything that you wanted to add to that?
Yeah, in kind of creating this book, I knew that it would be something that we could use, myself and Bree could use kind of as a tool in the classroom in some way, and we'll find different opportunities. So even with some of the illustrations that I created in there, some of those are just kind of some old illustrations in just ideas that I had. And oftentimes when I teach kids about drawing and creativity and coming with ideas, is about you draw what you think, just draw, just doodle, just practice. Because you never know when those ideas might be used later. And so a few of those illustrations that are in there are things that I had just created in kind of like warm-ups or in practice or in just kind of mindless doodles that eventually became like, okay, great, that's the start of an idea. Let me bring that in and let me play around with that. Let me get some input. Let me go back and forth. I think also oftentimes with art or creativity, it's misinterpreted as, it happens in that moment and it's instant and it magically appears, whatever tool you use, when really sometimes it's a process. Even if it's something that you worked on months prior, you can always still bring it back. So some of the things that I put in there definitely can be, the idea is to use those as activities and teach kind of the creative process and how we can hang. It's the same thing as editing, just editing text. You start with the draft. So that was kind of my intention in some of the illustrations, to be able to be used outside of just as I read it, or as we read it.
I love that. That's amazing. And I love that idea of that it like doesn't happen in the moment. And I'm sure there's days that you feel more creative than others. And you know, just like you would get some days, you know, authors can write a lot, and some days you have writer's block and that kind of thing. So I love that you said that. Brianne, did you want to do like a page or two reading of the book? Does that sound good?
Yes, I love it. And I feel like this is kind of cool because this is one of our like full spreads. And so I'm going to go ahead and read that. Take a look. He's really talented, right? Classmates started to take notice of Cooper's drawings while they were out at recess. A few of them even asked him to draw them. I think Cooper is starting to make some new friends because of his drawings. So there is this really cool full page spread with the hands. Like, this is something that we talked about like super specifically that we thought really added a neat element. And there's my owl and there's my kids in there. So I really loved that piece. And the next part really goes into some of the trouble that he gets into. And so you'll have to get the book to see.
Yes, you have to buy the book to find out about trouble.
Absolutely.
That's amazing. Well, you two are like the dream team. It doesn't surprise me at all that you had an amazing time putting this book together, because neither of you are difficult to get along with. You are both amazing. So I'm so happy for you. Congratulations on your book launch. And as far as our where to find our books, because I know that you're just dying to buy this book and you probably want to buy like 200 of them. I totally get it. So for so for a discount on bulk orders, please visit bit.ly/edumatchbulk, and you can find our books on all of the places that books are sold. So Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and then again at www.edumatchpublishing.com. And so you can find all of those things there. Any last words for our audience?
Just thank you for letting us share our story with you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Don't hesitate to reach out to us and ask us, how you can use the book in your classrooms.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, thank you so much, everybody. Thanks for joining us, and have yourself an amazing night.